As anglers, we all have a special place close to us when it comes to fishing, and the place in this video is that place for me. This is where carp fishing really started for me, and I have had some of the best fish of my life from here. Having spent some time away from here over the last few years, it was now time to return to see if I could get amongst any of the new fish or any of the old original ones still swimming in the lake. I know it is not going to be easy, and there's going to be some blank sessions along the way, but this is the Cotton Farm Diaries. Well, here we go. Some people say never return to a place you fished, but with this being so close to where I work, and like I said on the intro, this is just one of them places for me where I have to just keep returning. It's just something keeps drawing me back, whether it's the fish, the people or the place itself. There's just something about Cotton Farm, so I will always come back every now and then. It has been quite a while. I've never done a campaign on here for a number of years now, but I'm going to try my hardest to stick to it and see what this place has to throw me up after all these years. Yeah, so tonight is the first night session that we've been allowed to do coming out of the lockdown. So to save any arguments, Lee Jackson, who runs the place, he done a draw this morning in the car park. We've all chose our swims and we've all come back this evening to get our baits ready, set up and start off on a new session of night fishing. I'll just spin the camera around and I'll show you whereabouts I am for tonight and my plan going forward. Yeah, so this is where I'm going to spend the first night. It's a swim called the Big Beach. It is an old favourite swim of mine. A little bit different now to how I used to fish it. Got some floating islands out there, which wasn't there when I started fishing here. But it's a decent swim. It's probably middle of the lake really. So you've got a good bit of water to use, and there's quite a few hidden features out there that you can fish to. So the fish like to hold up on that drop off through the winter time, and then as the weather warms up they move up onto the shallows. Don't know if that was a fish just there. Yeah, so I've got two rods just down on that drop off. And as we come up this side, I've got a third rod just to the right of that spike as it comes round to deeper water. So that is an old favourite spot of mine, so I thought I'd have to give that a go. Stick something down there, see if the fish do move up and down that drop off. So anyway, I'll keep you updated and I'll show you more of the lake tomorrow. Right, so it's now morning. It was a very quiet night last night. It was nice to get out on the bank for a night though, so I'm not complaining. Yeah, basically I've had a change of plan this morning. I've had a walk round. I've moved swims quite early, but I haven't moved that far. I'm actually in the same swim, the Big Beach, but you can fit 2 or 3 bivvies along this bit. I was on the left hand side of it and I've moved to the right hand side, so I've noticed a few fish up this end. So I could have stayed in the same spot and just moved my rods around, but if someone turns up later on today and jumps in the right hand swim next to me, then that ruins the plan as such. So yeah, just moved it all round the other side of the rocks and got all rods up to the right hand side now. So hopefully, I'll show you the swim in a minute. It's going to be a lovely day today, so hopefully them fish can hang around the area and get feeding. It certainly is looking nice for it today though. It's definitely going to have them fish moving about. And I reckon they will stay up in this area where I'm fishing, so as long as I can put up with that fountain blowing in your face all day, which ain't that much of a problem at the moment. But if it was any colder, I reckon I'd be sitting here freezing with that blowing in my face. First session back coming to an end, it was time to reluctantly bring the rods in and get myself to work. Due to the busy Easter weekend, it wasn't until 2 weeks later when my next session was going to be on the lake, so a quick overnighter it had to be. Right, so just to give you a little bit of history on this lake, as far as me fishing it goes, I'll start off about how I actually come to fish cotton farm. So yeah, as I was growing up, both my uncles was well into their carp fishing, and they was fishing cotton farm, and I remember coming down to see them a number of times. Because my nan used to do like home help, and she used to cook a few of the old people roast dinners on a Sunday and go and deliver it to them. And every Sunday she used to do a few extra roast dinners, plate it all up and take it down the lake to both my uncles that were fishing with a couple of their mates. And on a few occasions I used to like go down there with her, and I was just amazed by it straight away, like just seeing the place, looking at the setup back then, like the carp setup that they had, and yeah, I just paid an interest in fishing from that day really. So from there was a picture that my uncle had on his wall in his house, and it was him in the lake holding this fish, and every day that I looked at that picture I thought, I need that picture, I need to catch that fish. So that was my target. It was a fish called yellow belly. Unfortunately no longer in the lake anymore, that's passed away, but back then that was it. I think people say that's the day an angler was born, and that was the day that I decided I was going to get into carp fishing, sort myself out with some gear, and I was going to go and catch yellow belly. So to cut a long story short, I got my uncle to help me out with what I would need. I was working at this time. I was looking back at the pictures, I think I was 17, nearly 18. So I was working, I saved up, got myself some fishing tackle, just your basic 2-rod setup, a cheap bed and a cheap bivvy, and my uncle brought me down here for a couple of guest sessions. So after I'd come down here fishing with him a couple of times, I got to know Lee Jackson, who runs the lake, and he offered me a ticket for the following season. So of course I snapped that up and took the opportunity straight away. So a few guest sessions later, I still hadn't caught a carp, and my chance had come round to start fishing this lake properly. So back then I think I was buying the weekly carp magazines, and I was reading everything in there, just taking everything on board, watching a lot of other people that were fishing cotton at the time, and there was a lot of good anglers here at the time. I mean, there's a lot of good anglers now, but back then, to just sit here, even though I wasn't catching fish, the anglers that I was watching, I was learning a lot from. Yeah, so after watching quite a few of the other anglers and the stuff I was reading in the magazines, I was coming to pick up a few of these little tips and little tricks and stuff to do. So I think eventually I went on to catch 2 carp that season. I think it was about a £9 common and a £24 mirror, which I was over the moon with. But for me, my eyes were set on this fish, yellow belly. I just had to get that picture of it. And the following season, it was the first fish that I caught. Yeah, I remember the day I caught it. I come down, I think I was only doing a few hours. I come down, I see some fish feeding close in, only small ones, but I trickled a bit of bait in, stick one hook bait out there, sat back just watching the one rod. There was someone fishing in the other side of the swim as well, and out of the blue, just had this take, played this fish, and as soon as it went in the net, I'd looked at the pictures of this fish so many times, I just looked at it in the net and went, that's yellow belly. Straight away, I'd never seen a fish of that size before, but straight away I knew that that was yellow belly and I'd caught it. So I think that first time it went just over £30, and during the, I mean, I've fished here, I've been a member for about 20 years on and off, but spent quite a lot of time away from it recently, and I think the time I was on here I went to catch that fish yellow belly 7 times, and 4 of them times I caught it on my birthday. And it's actually my birthday today, so there is a fish in here now which someone caught recently, which someone jokingly said, oh, looks like the new yellow belly. So if I went and caught that tonight, that'd be pretty magical really. But anyway, this time round, with my new little adventure on Cotton Farm, there's a lot of new fish in here. There's only a handful of fish in here now that was in there back when I started fishing it. And I've not really got any target fish in mind. It's just any carp from here would be, I'd be happy with really. So we'll see how we go. And I hope you enjoy these videos on here. Well, that brings us to the end of this first video back on Cotton Farm. No fish this time, but hopefully next time we can get amongst some of them Cotton Farm residents. In the next video I'll show you more of the lake and some of the tactics I'm going to be using to try and target some of these Cotton Farm fish. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next Cotton Farm Diary.